Alright, hello everyone, it's Teamrocketdraws here with another Pokemon drawing tutorial. And for this video guys, we're gonna draw another highly requested Pokemon. We're gonna draw Mega Lopunny. So as you guys can see on screen, this is how she or he ends up looking like. So if you guys want to learn how to draw him, then let's get started. I'm also gonna put up a reference right now on screen that way it's easier for you guys to draw, and at the same time you guys can get all your details. Alright guys, so remember to do your line slide because we're gonna start off by doing a sketch, and then from there on you guys are gonna do your final drawing. So first of all, we're gonna start by doing this like oval shape or like the circle shape. And if you guys notice, it's more the bottom right is leaning more to the right than the rest. It's actually, I don't know how to explain it guys. Basically she has like an egg shape head, but it's kind of aiming, like the point is kind of at the bottom right. It's hard to explain guys, so just try your best to do it the way I have it there. And then from there on we're gonna do the body, so we're gonna do the neck around there, and then just curve the bottom right there. And then right here just do a reference line just to show you guys that it shouldn't go further than that, so we could just work it around here. And then do the bottom flat, and then it just goes up. So we just needed, now that we have the right side and the bottom, we could just do the left side of her body. There we go. And actually I think on my drawing I do her a little bit thicker than she should be. I do the neck a little bit bigger than it should, so if you guys can make it a little bit thinner, it might turn out a little bit better. Alright, so now that we have that guys, we're gonna do this line and just curve it. It's basically the length of the head a little bit and a little bit more. That's gonna be one of her, like the bows, like the top left bow kind of looks like a butterfly. So now the bottom, and the tip right there at the top should be round. I make mine end at a point, but it should be round. I fixed that later on, so I recommend you guys do that right now. Just round off the top. Now for the one on this side, and this one, it's almost at the same level as the one on the left, but it's just a little bit higher than the left one. And just try to make them the same thickness, although the right one should be a little bit smaller just because it is at an angle. Now we're gonna do this middle line going up around there. That's gonna be the start of one of her ears, and it goes to the same level as those two shapes that we did. Alright, so now to do her leg, her thighs, they're basically really long oval shapes. There we go, we got one. Now to do the other one on the other side, they should line up on the same area, so you guys can do a reference line to help you guys, and they should go the same length. So we could just round off the left side, and then we could just basically try to have them the same, just basically look the same guys. There we go. Alright, so now to do the bottom part right here of her bow. I mentioned that's what that is. I'm not that familiar with the Mega Lopunny or Lopunny at that. Now the one on this side, this one actually goes a little bit outside of her head or her face. So maybe you guys can see what I'm talking about the bow kind of looking like the wings of a butterfly. Alright, so now I believe we're gonna do the face. No, I guess not. Alright guys, so now to do the rest of her leg, we're just gonna do the straight line going down. It's about the same length as we did the thighs, and then it's gonna come out a little bit there, and then it's just gonna connect to the bottom. Now let's do this one, and this one should be the same thickness and the same length. Right here I'm just pointing out that it should be the same thickness roughly. There we go. And the reason I said that, guys, that I thought I was gonna do the face is because I'm doing a voiceover. I did the drawing first and then the voiceover. Alright, so now for this part, we're gonna do like her hand. So we're just gonna do the circle. And then she has like I guess it's like a puff. And then she has another one behind this, so we could just add it. It kind of makes like this moon shape, the second one. Alright, so now we're gonna do her tail that sticks out around here. It's almost like the same size as the first side of her hand, where her, like the puff where her hand is. Alright, so now we're gonna do the other one, the puff on the other arm. So it should be around here. It's really close to the tail. So that's the big one, and then it has like another one. And right here we're just gonna do a circle for the main puff where her hand is, and just try to do this one almost the same size as the one on the other hand, just a little bit bigger. This one right here, guys. So if we would connect it on the other side of her body, it'd basically make the shape, the circle, and just try to have those close to the same size. But the other one on the right side should be a little bit bigger. Alright, so now let's move up to her ears. Do that line right there. Do another one here. Doesn't go that high. And now we notice that the ear goes around here. So right here I curved mine right there, and it shouldn't be curved. It should be just rounded off, guys. I fixed that later on. But now we're gonna connect the ear on top right there. And this one should be curved too. And just curve it all the way to the bottom to connect it to the other side, like I did here. And I go over the bow just so I can know that it lines up properly on the other side. You guys could just guess, but it's always better to know that it's gonna line up properly, and it just makes the drawing look a little bit better overall. So you guys could just press really lightly on that area so it won't show in the end. Now for her other side of her ear, they basically line up around the middle of her head. So we could just do a reference line. That way we know how long to do this one. And then this one actually goes behind her bow, so we can't see the part of her ear. Alright, so now for the eyes. The eyes, I just do this reference line here at the bottom just so I can know how low to do them. And then once I know where the bottom is, I could just basically do the eyes. And they're like oval shapes, but they're like pointy at the bottom. I don't know how to explain it, guys. It's a really hard thing to explain. And then we could just do it on the other side and basically line them up. So now, and now for the nose, it's around here. And then her mouth. She's smiling a little bit, so we could barely see that. So now that we have that, guys, we could erase that reference line going across her face. And if you guys notice, the eyes are like lined up. It's a trick that I recommend you guys doing, just so you guys can line up the eyes the same size, on the same area, level that is. You guys could do another one at the top, just so you guys can know both the eyes are the same height and everything. So it's just a tip from me to you. Alright, guys, so the bottom of her hair or her ears should be no lower than the knees right here, but in the end it does end up being a little bit longer. And then the one on the right is around there. So now that we know how long it's supposed to be or how far it should go, we could just start it off. So right here we're just gonna do these like oval shapes for the pattern right there in between her ear. And the ear part, the one that we did at top, should be in the middle of this shape right here. The left side is way bigger than the right, so I do cut off a little bit right here. But basically it should be like right in the middle of that shape right here, this like oval shape, egg shape, whatever you guys want to call it. Alright, so now we can start the other part of the ear. And this one goes to around her waist, or where her leg starts. You guys notice here I do it a little bit longer just because it wasn't gonna line up on my drawing if I did it the same as the reference. So if I can make like a better change, or just change it overall just to make it work on my drawing, then I will. The same thing goes for you guys. So now down here we could do another of those oval shapes. Put the little puff in between her ear. And this one should be the same size as the one on top, the first one that we did. So that's another tip that you guys might want to pay attention to. That way it can line up a little bit better overall in the end. Alright, so now for the last one, guys. The last one kind of ends up the shape of like a flame, like a candle flame, if you guys know what I'm talking about. And I do mine a little bit thinner than it should be. It should be a little bit thicker, but like I said, it's still okay, you know. And we do end up going over that line, the reference line, or below the knee area. But like I said before, if that happens, then that happens, you know. Alright, so now over here on this side, we're gonna do this line. That's basically where one of her puffs is. And now we're gonna do her part of the ear, like her actual ear. So it's around here. It goes over the tail a little bit, and then it connects around here. So look at the reference, guys, and know what we're talking about. It's just that section of her ear that is between the white puffs or the light brown puffs. Now for one of those oval shapes for the puff, once again we're kind of gonna do this like oval shape. This part might be a little bit confusing if you guys don't know what we're doing. Right here I'm just pointing out that that's this part, and now at the top there should be like a puff, but we're gonna do that after we do the arm. Alright, so now for the tip of her ear, once again it goes around the same area that where we did the reference line. So this one did line up a little bit better than the one on the left. But it doesn't have to, guys, but it just helps knowing where it should be, you know. Alright, so now that we have that, guys, we're gonna do this line right here at the bottom. It cuts off like just a section of the leg, and right here on this side we're gonna do this like circle or oval shape. I erase it in a little bit just because the right side is a little bit bigger than the left. It should be like centered on her legs since it's like facing us straight forward. So I do erase it and I redo it. There we go. Just a circle. And then there's like a little line that goes right there that curves in, but that should be right in the middle. I erase it just a little bit. Right now I'm just looking at my reference that I have on my tablet, the same one that you guys are using now, and I noticed that it should be right in the middle of that circle. Now for this side, since this leg's at an angle, it's gonna take on this like egg shape pointing to the top right. If you guys look at the reference, you guys might see what I'm talking about. And if you guys notice the bottom, I kind of made it like flat, like a straight line. I do curve it in a little bit. I just want to do that line just to give you guys an idea where to start it, so we can make this like egg shape. And as long as you guys make these two, like these two puffs that she has on her legs, close to the same size, then it's gonna, it might look a little bit better than if you make one a little bit bigger than the other. For example, here on mine, the left one is a little bit smaller, but it still works okay. Alright, so now that we basically got our sketch, guys, now we're gonna add some more details. So we're gonna start by doing the puffs right here in between the sections of her ear. So it just curves in right there. This one goes down. Same thing on this side, and now we're gonna get one more on this side, so we can just basically make it. I recommend that you guys look at the reference right now just to get an idea of what we're doing. It just might make it a little bit easier to follow the tutorial just by knowing what we're doing. Alright, so now for this part of the leg, we forgot to do this one. And now that we have that, guys, we could basically erase this line. We don't need it no more. Since it doesn't have it on the reference, it might be a little bit easier to understand the sketch that we're doing. Now I'm doing the same thing over here. I'm erasing some of these lines that don't connect on the reference. For example, the puffs on her hands. And now we're gonna do her arm that we forgot, guys. So this one goes in to the body a little bit. It's really thin. I think I make mine a little bit bigger than I should have, but it's still alright. And now we can barely see one on the other side, like her arm a little bit. If it you guys doesn't like show up the same, then you guys could not add it. But if you guys got like a small gap right there where you guys could add it, then go ahead and do it. For her fingers, it's just 3 little like oval shapes. And I couldn't really tell on the tablet that I was using how those fingers look, so I just did it like that. And then on this arm, we could actually see the actual shape of the ovals going sideways. So now to continue with the shapes of her puffs in between her ears. Once again, look at the reference to get a better idea, but we could use the oval shapes that we did right there just to know where to place everything. Now for this one up here. This part might be a little bit confusing, guys, to see what I'm doing, since I'm basically using the same shape of the oval shape that we use. But once again, just look at the reference to get a better idea. Alright, so now I could add the rest of the puff. I erased the inside of her arm so it doesn't have a line going through it. Now we could erase the inside of her bow. I believe that's what I'm gonna do right now. Right now I'm just looking at the reference. Like I said, guys, mine's a little bit smaller. You guys have it up on the screen a little bit better to see. So just take advantage of that and use it. So these dots are, or these lines are not connected. There's nothing there, so we could erase them. And just by erasing and adding small lines, guys, small details, it just starts to make the drawing pop out, you know, come alive. So that's something that you guys could remember. Sometimes just by adding small details or just taking away some stuff just makes the drawing. So never give up on your drawings, guys. Now right there, her little toes. And there's no line that connects this part, so we could erase it. And I might have made her a little bit short, guys, the body, like her stomach and all that, but you guys could fix that by just changing the length of the shape that we did at the beginning of her body, her stomach. Alright, right here I'm just working at her puff, and on the reference under the arm it doesn't show, and right here I actually put the tail behind her ear right there, thinking that that's the way it was supposed to be. I wasn't looking at the reference, so that's why I did that. But once I look at the reference, I noticed that the tail actually goes over her ear, so I do change that. And now just add the little like purple, not the purple, where am I getting purple from, guys? The brown like stomach shape that she has. And now we can start adding some of her oval shaped patterns that she has on her thighs. Right here I make mine a little bit bigger than I should have, so just look at the reference, guys. You guys might find it a little bit more helpful. And if you guys notice that I'm not pressing that hard on these, you guys could barely see them. It's just for the same reason that I know that I need to go over them again and make them a little bit better. So I didn't want to press that hard. That way when I do erase them, it's still, it could clean up a little bit easier. So now I'm just going over the drawing. For example, there the ear, notice that it wasn't looking right, so I just completely curved it. That way it could go work a little bit better. And overall, this is where I round off the tip of her bow, and just overall work on the drawing. You know, if something doesn't look right, now's the time to change it, and we're basically done, guys. So like I said before, just go over your drawing, make any changes that you guys need. Right here I messed up on the head a little bit when I went over it with the pen, but it still came out okay. I also fixed the tail, guys, like I said before. Before I did the tail under the ear, now I did the tail over the ear. So that's another thing. I also fixed the spots, the pattern on her thighs. And I think that's it, guys. Those are all the changes that I did make. So like I said before, you guys could use my outline right here. You guys could use the reference. I recommend using the reference just because that's what we're trying to draw. But overall, I think it came out pretty good, guys. Also for the puffs in between her ears, it's more like a cloud shape. I don't know how to explain it, but it might take you guys a couple tries just to do that. But overall, I think it came out pretty well. Another thing that I noticed is that where her knee is, like the lines don't connect right there. Before we had the shape, so that's something that you guys might want to change up. But overall, I think it came out good, guys. The only thing that if I could go back, that I could change, is just probably making the body a little bit longer, her stomach, her chest, just basically doing that shape at the beginning that we did a little bit longer, because like this it looks okay, you know, but just comparing it to the reference, it looks a little bit smaller. So I did end up coloring it. As you guys can see here, I used my Prisma Premier color markers. I used two different browns, regular brown and then a little bit darker brown for the shadows. And then I used my my Prisma Premier color markers to do her thighs, just because I have different shades of gray for that. So I used the darkest and then a shade lower for the highlights. And then I just used like two different skin colors, really light browns for her puffs, the same thing for her bow and the puffs on her arms and also on her feet. So overall, guys, I think it came out pretty good. I also added like a pink for her eye, but just looking at it, it doesn't really stand out. But overall, I think it still came out okay, guys. So I just want to thank you guys for watching. Let me know in the comment section how yours ended up looking like, and if something doesn't look right, guys, you guys could always make any changes to your drawing. It doesn't have to look the same as a reference, or it doesn't have to look the same as mine. If you guys could add any changes just to improve your drawing, then go ahead and do it. And if it doesn't work out overall, guys, maybe try it another day, you know, maybe try it tomorrow or later on today, whenever, you know, and then just try to like I said before, the body, make it a little bit longer. And the second time it's always going to be a little bit easier, just because you know what to expect, and it just makes it a little bit easier overall. So if you guys are having trouble, you guys could try again later on. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say. So yeah, guys, leave a like, guys, if you guys ended up drawing Mega Lopunny. Let me know in the comment section how many of you actually drew Mega Lopunny. And if you guys want to send in your drawings, like the ones you saw at the beginning of this one, the links will be in the description to my Twitter, email, and Facebook. You guys can send them there. I'll be happy to feature them at the beginning of my videos. So I just want to thank you guys for watching, guys, and I'll catch you guys on the next episode. Team Rocket Draws out.